All right. So one is we looked at an absolute net lease. We know tenant pays everything. So the rent flows all the way down to the NOI. So the biggest risk is one tenant. If the tenant goes out, then it's 100% occupancy to 100% vacancy. So we have to look at the tenant's credit rating, you have to look at the guarantee, you have to look at the location, and all part of your due diligence. 15-year term, which is really good with some rent increases along the way. So the interest rate is higher than the cap rate. So that means the leverage is kind of working against you. So you're not leveraging, you're basically, but you're still doing the financing because otherwise you have to pay $3 million, right? Here you're only putting, less than half of that. So you're still using financing and the deal still works, right? What we call deal pencils out based on how we underwrote it. And basically the lender is giving you only a 60% loan to value because that's what it takes for the deal to work. Plus it's a higher risk for them because of a single tenant. All right, so now we are going to take a lunch break, make it 15 minutes because we still have a lot of things to cover. And when you come back, the first thing we're going to draw is we're going to do the second drawing or for our leasing course. So we're going to be giving away our commercial leasing course. And I will show you what that looks like when we come back as well. Actually, I'll show it to you real quick before we go. So we are going to be going to hub.roinews.com. That's where you access your courses. All right, so let's go to our Take a Course and the CRE Leasing Mastery. So we have 7 modules. Each module has about 8 to 10 lessons. It takes you from, if you're interested in commercial leasing, which I think everybody should be, because if you're learning multifamily, great. But if you're learning commercial investments, you also need to understand commercial leasing, right? Multifamily, you don't have to worry about any of this stuff, like when it comes to leasing. But if you're working on retail, industrial, office properties, you need to understand leasing also, right? Whether if you're an investor or working with investors. So we go from, foundation. We have, we have almost 10 modules in foundation alone, how to set up your business, right? Then we go into business of leasing, explains everything, what the different lease types, what we do, all of that stuff. And then if you click on each of these lessons, you can see that you start with a video that is usually about a 5 to 6 minute video. This is about under 5 minutes. Then you can listen to an audio brief or you can listen to an audio deep dive. So let me play this real quick so you can listen.
Imagine you've just closed your first commercial property deal. Everything is going well until a month later when a massive rooftop air conditioning unit dies. Replacing it costs $20,000. The immediate question is, who actually writes that check? Welcome to Mastering Basic Lease Structures. We're going to look at the different layers of responsibility that sit behind a monthly rent check. Every commercial lease functions as a set of rules, negotiating who bears the financial risk for the daily expenses of keeping a property running. This graphic shows the expense allocation continuum.
So that is the video lesson. And then you scroll down, we have an audio deep dive. That is actually almost 15 minutes. So let me play that for you so you can see what that looks like.
Imagine you're a beginner commercial real estate agent or an investor, right? And you've just been handed this massive thick stack of lease documents for a gleaming glass office tab.
Oh yeah, the classic data room experience.
Exactly. And you're looking at it and the rental rate looks fantastic on paper, the numbers are humming, but out in the real world, a massive storm is rolling.
Right, the macro environment.
Yeah, like say the roof leaks or the city suddenly spikes property taxes by 20%. When those realities hit, who is actually writing the check to cover it?
That is the exact moment where the paper valuation of an asset completely collides with reality.
Right.
Because reading these structures isn't just about reading contracts, it's about understanding how commercial real estate deals are, such
So the audio deep dives you can listen to when you're working out or when you're driving, right? So, or when you can listen on, you can download it and listen it in any, any place you are, right? You can take it with you, basically. So, and then this is just one chapter, okay? And then you can, if you like to read and write on it, so you download the chapter and then you can make notes and all of that stuff there. And then if you want the charts, we have some charts. You can download the charts, and so it explains the whole concept for you. You can also use these charts to say take each chart, and you can use that for your social media post or write a blog on it or something like that. That's what we are doing, is take each of these charts and writing a blog on it, or blog or article on it. Or you can also use that as a graphic for your social media. I think somebody mentioned about we don't know how to do social media, so I'm just telling you what to do, right? I'm just giving it to you. All you have to do is copy and paste it. Then you have an infographic here, and basically it's another one you can use for your posting and everything else. And then you also have a quiz. Every lesson has a quiz. It asks you some questions about, in the context of expense allocation, lease structures, basically ask you a question, you say, you answer it, and just pick this one and say that's the wrong answer. The correct answer is gross lease. Right? So every chapter comes with 10 quizzes, and you can retake the quiz as many times as you want as well. I mean, not 10 quizzes, 10 questions. Right? So that is what's included in the course. That is what, and that is just going back here. You can see that was just one lesson. So there are 61 lessons here. Every lesson has an audio track, has a video track, has the charts, it has the reading material, has a quiz. So take the course, and so we are selling it now for $295 for one-time fee, right? It's not a recurring fee, because we just introduced this one about 30 days ago as well. So eventually it will be a subscription. So right now we are giving it for lifetime. So if you're interested in the commercial leasing course, that's what it is. And then one lucky person is going to win that entire course when we come back. So if you want to be that person who wins that course, then be back on time in 15 minutes. All right. All right.